Part 1. The winter story. Imagine waking up one cold morning. The air feels crisp, the sunlight faint behind the window. You step out onto the porch planning to grab the newspaper or the letter delivered yesterday. But with just one slip, everything changes. You fall to the floor. The sound of impact is sharp, then silence. No one hears it, no one is there. Only you and a body that suddenly will not obey. The only question that flashes through your mind is not where does it hurt, but what do I do now? It sounds simple, but in that moment, time seems to stop. Many people have experienced that feeling. Your hands tremble, your breathing becomes fast, your heart races, yet your whole body feels paralyzed. You know nothing is broken, but you cannot lift yourself up. The scariest part is not the fall itself. It is the feeling of completely losing control for those few minutes after. Every year, millions of people over 60 go through this same situation. Not outdoors or in dangerous places, but right inside their own homes. In the living room, in the bathroom, or just while walking down the stairs. The numbers are startling. 1 out of every 4 older adults falls at least once a year. And for many, that single fall becomes the start of a chain reaction. Loss of confidence, loss of balance, even the loss of independence. But here is a truth most people do not realize. The greatest harm does not come from the fall itself, but from what happens afterward. How you react in those first 5 minutes, whether you panic or stay calm, freeze, or know what to do, determines the severity of your injury and how well you recover. Many assume the most important thing to do after falling is to get up immediately. In reality, that rush often makes things worse. A 2024 Harvard study found that people who stayed calm and followed just a few simple steps within the first 5 minutes reduced their risk of serious injury or complications by up to 40%. I remember one of my patients, a 78-year-old woman who fell while picking up her mail. The fall itself was not severe, but in her panic, she tried to stand right away and lost her balance again. When I asked her what scared her most, she did not say pain. She said, "I felt helpless." That answer stayed with me for a long time because it reveals the true fear of aging, not the fear of falling, but the fear of losing control over one's own body. And that is exactly why we are here today. This video is not about fear, it is about reclaiming control. I am going to show you 5 simple steps, no special equipment, no strength required, that could save your life or the life of someone you love in a moment that feels hopeless. These are not just physical movements. They are scientific principles that help the body and mind reconnect after a shock. So if you are watching this, stay with me until the end. What I am about to share could not only help you get back up after a fall, but help you regain something even more valuable: your calm and your trust in your own body. Because aging does not take away our strength, it simply asks us to use that strength more wisely. And sometimes all it takes is one well-timed breath to get halfway back to safety. Part 2. When the body freezes after a fall. When someone falls, the first thoughts that usually come to mind are, did I break a bone or can I get up? But the real danger is not in the moment of impact. It comes in the seconds that follow when both the body and the mind are thrown into chaos. Many people say they remain conscious, aware that they are lying on the floor, yet they cannot move. The hands refuse to respond. The legs stay still. Breathing feels trapped in the chest. And in the mind, there is only one overwhelming feeling: fear. That does not mean your body has failed you. In fact, it is trying to protect you, just in a very primitive way. When the brain senses a sudden shock, an impact, or an intense fear, it triggers an ancient survival mechanism humans have carried for thousands of years. The freeze response, known in medicine as tonic immobility. In that moment, the heart slows down. The breath becomes shallow and blood is redirected toward the body's center to protect the heart and brain. The muscles stiffen as if the body has hit a temporary pause. Like an animal playing dead to escape a predator, your body stays still to prevent further damage. Biologically, this reaction is incredibly smart, but for older adults, it has a downside. As blood flow slows and oxygen to the brain drops, a sense of helplessness and panic sets in. The more you panic, the tighter your muscles become, the shorter your breathing grows, and the deeper you fall into paralysis. Many patients have told me, "I knew I wasn't broken, but I just could not move or call for help." That fear and tension, not the fall itself, often cause greater harm. In 2023, the Tokyo Institute of Gerontology published an important study among adults over 60. Those who panicked and held their breath for the first 60 seconds after falling increased their risk of secondary injury by up to 35%, simply because they forgot the most basic thing: breathing. It sounds small, but breathing is the bridge between your brain and your body. When you take a deep breath, oxygen returns, the brain receives clear signals again, the heartbeat steadies, and the muscles start to respond. That is why the very first thing you must do after a fall is not to get up, it is to find your breath. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold it for a second, then exhale deeply through your mouth. Repeat 2 or 3 times. This is more than a biological action, it is a way of telling your body, I am still here, I am in control. As your breathing settles, the fear begins to fade, circulation improves, and your nervous system resets itself. I often tell my patients, do not try to be strong in that moment. Strength is not about how fast you can get up. It is about how calm you can remain. Breathing is the beginning of that calm. If you can control your breath, you can control your body. And when your body listens again, everything else becomes easier. So if you or someone you love ever experiences a fall, do not panic and do not rush to move. Stay still for a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let it out slowly. In that simple rhythm, you are rebooting your system, just like restarting a computer after it freezes. Your body works the same way. It does not need force, it needs time. And breathing is how you buy yourself that precious time. Once your breath and sense of calm have returned, that is the moment you can move to the next stage, checking your body, feeling each part, and gradually regaining movement. But always remember, every recovery begins with the right breath. Part 3. 5 survival steps after a fall. When you fall, your first instinct is to get up as fast as possible. Every one of us fears the feeling of being down, of seeming weak, or of being seen that way. But ironically, that very rush is what causes many people to hurt themselves even more. Instead of standing right away, what you should do first is stop. Stopping does not mean giving up. It means allowing your body the time it needs to regain control. In emergency medicine, we call this the golden time, the first 5 minutes that decide whether you will recover smoothly or spend weeks in the hospital. And during that short window, there are 5 small yet crucial steps. I want you to remember them not as information, but as instinct, so that if the unexpected happens, your body already knows what to do. The first step is to breathe. It sounds simple, but it is the single most important thing to do. Take a deep breath in through your nose, then slowly exhale through your mouth. Repeat this 2 or 3 times. Each breath does more than bring oxygen back to your brain. It sends a message to your nervous system that says, I am safe. When you breathe, your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, and blood flow stabilizes. A 2022 study, published in the Journal of Geriatric Emergency Medicine, found that seniors who practiced deep breathing right after a fall regained mobility about 40% faster than those who did not. I always tell my patients, do not try to stand up with strength, stand up with your breath. Because when your breath is calm, your body listens. Once your breathing steadies, move to the second step, the stillness check. Do not twist your body, do not make any sudden movements. Stay still and listen to your body for a minute or 2. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and ask yourself quietly, do I feel pain anywhere? Am I dizzy or seeing blurry? Do I know where I am and what just happened? If you can answer those questions clearly, your awareness is stable and you are likely not seriously injured. But if your head feels light, your heart races, or you feel disoriented, stay where you are. Your body is signaling, wait a little longer. A 2023 study by the American Geriatric Society found that seniors who stayed still for at least 90 seconds after a fall had 30% fewer secondary injuries than those who tried to stand immediately. Just a few seconds of patience can save you weeks of pain. When your breathing and awareness are steady, it is time for the third step, micro movements. This is when you start testing your body safely. Begin with the smallest parts, your fingers and toes. Move them gently. Notice if there is any sharp pain or numbness. If everything feels fine, move up to your wrists, knees, and hips. Do not turn your head too quickly or lift your upper body abruptly. Slow, tiny movements are enough, as if you are gently waking up each muscle after the shock. Neurologists call this reactivating proprioception, the body's ability to sense its own position and rebuild the connection between brain and body. At 60 or 70 years old, this becomes even more important because the nervous system reacts more slowly. When you move slowly and deliberately, you are teaching your body to obey again. When you feel warm, clear-headed, and pain-free, you can begin the fourth step, roll and rise. This method is commonly taught in physical therapy programs and used in major rehabilitation hospitals. Start by bending one knee, then gently roll onto the side that hurts less. Do not twist suddenly. Use your lower arm to support your head, then press your upper hand against the floor for balance. When you are safely on your side, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Push up with both hands, bend your knees, and bring yourself into a crawling position. Do not be embarrassed. This is the safest posture because your weight is evenly distributed and does not strain your spine or hips. Crawl slowly toward a stable object, a chair, a bed, or a wall. Place both hands on it, bring one foot forward until it touches the ground, then gradually push your body upward. Pause in a half-kneeling position, take another breath, and only then rise fully. This is not just a way to stand. It is a reminder that you can regain control not with brute force, but with calm awareness. According to the National Institute on Aging, seniors who learn the roll and rise method reduce their risk of secondary injury after a fall by 45%. True strength does not live in your muscles, it lives in your patience and the order of your actions. Once you are standing, do not rush to walk. Move to the final step, rest and stabilize. Sit for a moment, lean on something steady. Take a few deep breaths. Check your pulse by placing a hand on your chest or wrist. If your heartbeat is still racing, wait until it slows. If you feel dizzy or your vision darkens, sit down immediately. Do not try to prove that you are fine. Many people think they are okay. Walk a few steps and collapse again. Drink a little water if you can. If someone is nearby, ask them to bring you a blanket. A cold floor constricts your blood vessels and slows recovery. Keeping warm and calm is the first medicine after a fall. When you feel stable, check gently for bruises, deep aches, or vision changes. If you notice anything unusual, contact a loved one or call your doctor. These 5 steps may sound simple, but behind them lies an entire philosophy of survival. Be calm first, act later. Because in the instant your body hits the ground, what saves you is not strength, it is clarity. That clarity begins with one breath, one moment of stillness, one careful motion, one mindful rise, and one pause to steady yourself. I often tell my patients, falling is not what you should fear. What you should fear is forgetting how to get up correctly. These 5 steps are not just an emergency guide, they are a lesson in patience, in trust between the mind and the body. When you learn to breathe before acting, to stop before rushing, to listen instead of resist, you will not only rise from a fall, you will rise from fear itself. Part 4. Faith after the fall. I remember an 80-year-old woman named Margaret who lived alone in the suburbs. One autumn morning while watering her flowers, she slipped on damp ground and fell. No bones were broken, no serious injuries, but from that day on, she stopped going out to her garden. For 6 months, she stayed inside her house. Each time she stood up, fear returned. She once told me, "Doctor, I do not trust my legs anymore. Every time I think about walking, I imagine myself falling." Her words were soft, but behind them was a deep fear I have heard from many older adults, the fear of falling again. After a fall, what we lose is not only balance, it is trust. When you stop trusting your body, every step feels like a battle. The sad part is, the less you move, the weaker your muscles become, your reflexes slow down, and the more likely you are to fall again. It becomes a cycle. Fear stops you from moving, and not moving makes you weaker. I told Margaret, "That is all right. We will start again, not with your legs, but with your confidence." I taught her 3 simple exercises called micro movements, just 5 minutes a day. Stand with your back against a wall, knees slightly bent, and take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the ground, let your knees move gently, and rest your back against the wall. That is all. She did it every day, little by little. No rush, no pressure. After 3 weeks, she could step outside the door. After 6 weeks, she was watering her flowers again. When I asked how she felt, she smiled and said, "I feel alive again, doctor." Her story reminded me of something. Years of medicine have taught me real strength does not come from muscles. It comes from calm and trust. When you know you can control your breathing and your movement, fear fades. Science calls it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reconnect with the body through practice and belief. I call it the wisdom of aging. A 2023 study from the Tokyo Institute of Gerontology confirmed that just 2 short daily sessions of gentle movement reduced fear of falling by 50% and significantly improved balance among older adults. But beyond the exercise itself, what truly matters is patience. Because every small movement, every time you stand up again, your body learns something important: I still can. In every therapy session, I tell my patients to whisper a simple sentence to themselves. My body is steady. My breath is calm. It may sound small, but that is how you rebuild the dialogue between your brain and your body. When you say it, your muscles soften, your heart rate slows, and your posture becomes more stable. Science calls it the neuroregulation effect, but I simply call it self-reassurance. You see, the fall never really defeats us. It teaches us to stand up smarter, slower, and with more awareness. A body that has fallen and risen again is a body that truly understands the value of life. A mind that has faced fear and chosen to try again is a mind that has conquered age itself. I believe everyone past 60 can relearn that skill. You do not need much, just a breath, a small step, and the decision to say, I am not finished yet. Sometimes life is not measured by how many falls we avoid, but by how many times we dare to rise again. And every time you do, even if it is just standing up from a chair, you are sending a quiet message to the world: I am still here, and I am still strong. Part 5. Conclusion and message. When someone falls and then rises again, they do not just regain balance. They learn a profound truth about life. Real strength is not in the legs, but in calmness and faith within the heart. I have met many such patients, people who were once afraid, once panicked, but gradually learned to breathe slower, stand up, and move forward again. They often tell me that every fall taught them something about themselves. And I believe that is the true wisdom of aging, knowing that life is not about avoiding every fall, but about learning to rise again with peace. When we are young, every fall is a lesson in resilience. When we are older, every fall becomes a reminder of patience. The body may grow weaker, reflexes slower, but within us remains a quiet strength, the strength of experience, understanding, and calmness that youth does not possess. Only when we slow down, take a deep breath, and listen to our body do we realize how much control we still have. Many people ask me, Doctor, how do I stop being afraid of falling? I often smile and answer, you do not have to stop being afraid. You just have to understand the fear. Once you understand it, fear is no longer an enemy. It becomes a signal to prepare better, to live more mindfully. In Japanese medicine, there is a concept called anzen no kokoro, meaning the safe heart. It does not mean living without danger. It means living with readiness and calm. A person with a safe heart does not avoid life. They live it with awareness, with confidence that whatever happens, they will know how to respond. And perhaps that is the message I want to leave with you today. A fall is not the end. It is a pause, a reminder that your body needs care and attention. See each fall as a chance to understand yourself better, to practice breathing, patience, and trust. Because if you can breathe correctly and stay calm, you will not only rise from the floor, you will rise from fear, from shame, from limitation. If you have watched until now, I hope you remember not only the 5 survival steps, but one deeper truth: aging does not mean weakness. It is a season of life where every breath, every step, and every time you rise becomes proof of true human strength, the strength of peace. And if you are afraid of falling today, start with something small. Stand up from your chair, place your hand over your heart, take a deep breath, and whisper softly, I am still here. I can still do this. If this video touches you, share it with your loved ones, with your parents, or with someone living alone. Sometimes one simple message can save a life. And remember, the wisdom of aging is not in avoiding every risk, but in smiling and standing back up every time we fall. So keep walking slowly, steadily, and with gratitude. Because every step you take after a fall brings you closer to the deepest peace of your life.